Okay, so we have a Hunter's drawing open here, right? So there's going to be many problems that I've seen already just by opening it. So I just opened it. So if we're working in AutoCAD, what should we be working with? The correct scale. Number one thing is scale.
It's
Okay?
scaled down.
So this thing is scaled down to some insane size that's like 1 inch wide or something.
I don't know.
Yeah, so he doesn't know what it is. So that's a major problem. Do you guys
No,
understand?
the units are feet, and it's 26, like 20.6 inches by 20.6 inches.
No, I don't think it even is. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do is units. So everybody should do this. Units. So he's in fractional. He should be in architectural.
I was in Rhino, and I just imported AutoCAD.
Okay, so you got to fix these things. It's all right. It's all right. Don't get defensive. I'm just trying to help you guys, all right?
I don't know what I did. That's just the thing.
All right. So what I'm going to do here is switch this to architectural. All right. So this should be an architectural. This is fine. Everything else can be in feet. So we're going to hit OK. Hit OK. Next thing is we're going to go ahead and figure out what this is. So we know this should be how wide? No.
1,320.
1,320 feet. We're drawing 1 to 1. Okay? 1 to 1. All right? So I'm just going to draw a line. The final output needs to be around that. Oops. Okay. So I'm just doing this because I don't have like good corners, so I'm trying to find some good corners. Okay, so we know from this from that edge to that edge needs to be 1,320 feet, right? So I'm going to do a scale, select everything, pick a base point, which will be this point here. I'll just pick an intersection for now. Parent intersection. Okay. And then we're going to go ahead and do a reference. So R for reference. And then we're going to reference a length. Okay. So we reference that length. And then I'll type in 1320 feet. Enter. And zoom extends. Okay. If I check the size of this, it will be approximately 1,320 some feet. It's a little bit wider because of the hatch pattern. All right. So now I'm on the way to making a good plot. Okay. So the problem you guys are doing, this is the way I work. I'm telling you the better way. I like to work the fastest, best way. Right? If there was something better, I would have figured it out by now. I don't want to sound like I'm arrogant or I know what but I've been doing this way too long, and I've been doing it under serious pressure trying to get drawings done. Okay? Where basically producing what you guys do in one semester, like in one night projects. All right? So trust me, I've done this many times. Now, the one thing that you're going to run up against if you're working like from Rhino into AutoCAD is colors and layers. Okay, so we want to standardize some things. Now you don't have to do this. The only thing is, like, you see how the colors, like these are hard colors to track. So, I mean 0, we want to switch that to white.
I don't think there's anything on 0.
Okay, it doesn't matter. Orange, we might switch. Like, you don't want to use index colors. We might switch it to yellow. I know, although that's a section cut. Sorry, section cut. Let's work in the AutoCAD colors. So if we go to index color, if we go from 1 to magenta, magenta is your darkest, red is your lightest. This is like pretty standardized. If you go in any office, this is the way they're going to be working. Okay? So magenta should be our cut. That's going to be our darkest line. Section light I assume that's our lightest line. We're not going to use true color, we're going to use index. We can make that yellow, we can make it red. Section middle. In this case, let's go ahead and select that is like cyan, it's sort of in the middle. What is section through?
That's where you can actually see the ground. Like there's a hole in the actual platform and there's nothing obstructing it to the actual earth bottom.
So that's the very lightest?
I made that kind of like an in-between the section of the section cut.
Let's make that yellow for now. Let's make this...
So the latest one actually are the trees and landscape.
Okay. And then let's make that... Let's actually switch these around. So I'm going to make trees and landscape the lightest. I'm going to make that green. Oops. And then we'll make this yellow. So I'm typically going from red, yellow, green, cyan, magenta. Sorry, cyan, blue, magenta. This is like your pen weights, right? When you work with pens, do you guys do any inking in life? Pencil work? Maybe in high school? Right? You use line weights, right? So these are like how our brain starts to work. This is what you should be using to standardize. If you work with a standard thing, you're thinking less about line weights and you're thinking more about output, and then or less about output, which means you're focusing more on design, right? So if you use a standardized system, that's going to help. Now let's see what this does. I'm sure it's not the end of it, but so you can see all our colors changed. Now this is section middle. So this is like the middle. This is lower, obviously. We might need to add information. Let's start with this, and then we might add more info. Okay. So we understand these are our cuts. So this is good. So the next thing is I'm going to start producing PDFs. Okay. Now, for those of you that don't have Adobe Acrobat, because you need professional, there's ways around this. All right. And the ways around this is to set up an EPS printer. So you just print basically EPS files which are native to Illustrator. Okay? So if we go under Plotter Manager, there's an Add a Plotter Wizard. This will take us to a step-by-step. And what we're going to do is we're going to make a virtual printer. Okay? It's on my computer. And what we're going to do is pick Adobe PostScript Level 2. This is basically making a PDF, but it's making an EPS. We don't have to worry about that. Just hit Next. This is virtual, so we're going to plot to a file. We don't plot to a port, we plot to a file. Then we call this, EPS output, say. Illustrator, whatever, so we don't miss it, right? And then we finish. So now we just made an EPS output Illustrator plotter. Okay? This is if you don't have Adobe PDF. PDFs usually work better. To be honest with you, the EPS works sometimes the best with hatches and solids. Okay? So, because you guys might even have a post level 3. So we're going to then go to plot. We then can pick here, we'll find our EPS output Illustrator. So this is our virtual printer. Okay? We're then going to go to properties. And then we're going to look at custom properties. Custom properties. I think that's fine. It's always a hunt. Custom paper sizes. So that's under, let's do that again. And each printer is different. There's going to be a custom paper sizes. We're going to add it. Start from scratch. We're going to make it 24 by 24. Okay? 0 margin. So we're basically making our 24 by 20, because that's our thing is going to be like 20 something, right? Supposedly. So that's fine. So let's hit OK. We can apply that, hit OK. We should be able to find that now there, user 1, 24 by 24, under our paper size. We're then going to switch this to window for what we want to plot, and we're going to click a window as tight to our geometry as possible. We're unchecking fit to scale, and we're going to switch that to 1/16 of an inch, right? Or no, what, right? It was 1/16. 1 to 64. Sorry, 1/64 equals, and you can see now it fits. See that? How it fits in our 24 by 24. Now we do have center the plot. So that centers it. So far, so good? Now we're feeling pretty good about ourselves. Now, if we just preview this, all we see is the colors. So this isn't good, right? So we got the scale right. We know this is the exact scale that we need. Okay? Now we have to start working with the line weights. So we previewed that. That looks good. We need to set up our pen styles, right? It's like going back to 1980s here. The old days you had the pen plotter. The pen plotters are black, right? Now everybody's trying to make like a pen plotter, make their own drawing machine. So by default, there should be like an ACAD. There should be something here. So just pick some default. I think it's going to be ACAD. And just say yes, assign it. Then you're going to click to this little edit. You'll get your colors. Why am I using color 1 through 6? Because those are the colors that first come up. And this is what we need to start to change, right? So I can go through 1 through 6, and by default, it says here, sorry, hold on. Color. I want to make sure I switch all those colors to black. So I pick 1, hold down Shift, 6, switch all my colors to black. Okay? Then I go to each color and change the line weights. So this is all in millimeter sizes, okay? So if anybody used a rapidograph in your life, this is why like it's important to probably learn how to hand draw a little bit first, but you know, you're generational, so you missed that generation. So when did anybody use a Micron or any of those rapidograph pens, the inking pens? Right. So those had like millimeter sizes, like 00, 000, 1s. You know, So if you're not sure, you start somewhere. So I can start with my lightest as 0.1 millimeter, and then I'm slowly going to increase my line weights so they get thicker. Okay, maybe that's too thick. And magenta being my thickest, maybe. Okay? So I changed all my layers to black. I changed now the thickness of the line. Why is this a lifesaver? Because if you set up your layers correctly, spend time drawing the stuff, and you can output it directly, and you don't have to do anything in Illustrator. Okay? So if I preview this now, I'm going to start to see my line weights. This saves a ton of time. Okay? All right? And I can adjust it. So I can say, you know what? I don't know. Maybe my cyan's too dark. Maybe it's okay. And then we'll hit OK. It's going to prompt me to save this file. Let me just throw it on the desktop. That's an EPS. It's going to save this EPS. If I then go into Illustrator, I use Illustrator. Don't get me wrong. I do use it, but it's not number one, it's not accurate, and we're eventually building models out of this stuff. You guys want to plot stuff accurately. So how would I deal with this? How would I lay this stuff out in Illustrator? You know, the first thing I'm going to do is I'll open that up and just take a closer look at it. So you can see I can open it up straight into Illustrator. It's an EPS. EPS is like is basically a standard file for Illustrator. Okay. The one thing, it obviously had a hard time with the artboard. No big deal, right? It sort of has it rotated potentially. I don't know. It's the right setup. They had a problem with the artboard. Like didn't know how to deal with it. Doesn't matter. One thing I can do is get rid of all the educational crap. And you don't want to use that one. You want to use Direct Select, which is the white one. And try to do a good job selecting it. Okay. We then can set up a new like we want to set up a new drawing. And this is where we can set up our width, right? So our width is going to be 24. Say our height's going to be 48 for now, right? Because we're going to put a section underneath. We select all of this. You can just say edit, copy. Not the fastest machine in the world. So. Edit, paste. There it is. Move it in position. I'm a third of the way there. I can plot. It's 1:30. I can get a drawing out by 2. You guys can't. Okay? So don't try to be a stunt person. You've never tried to be a stunt person. All right, so I don't have to do anything to this. It's ready. So you want to do all your work here where it's easy. Like if I had to go in here now, I don't know what you guys are doing. You guys individually going in here and drawing over this stuff? Like how are you dealing with these files? I'm not sure how you do it in Illustrator. I know how to do it. It's not going to be easy. It's going to look bad. To do Illustrator the way like you need to do it in Illustrator, it takes a lot of skill. You guys don't have it yet. AutoCAD is like the easiest sort of software for you right now. So you can go. This is a file from Rhino, right? 2D.
Yep.
Made 2D, hatched it in Rhino.
I hatched it in AutoCAD.
In AutoCAD. Went back to Rhino, or you hatched it here?
So I made it all in Rhino, made it 2D, then I moved it to AutoCAD.
AutoCAD hatched it. Yeah. And then plot it out. EPS, easiest. Don't even need Adobe. Okay? This makes sense? And then you can see, you can do the same thing for the section. So the section will be right underneath it. And then, you can place those. Right? So work in AutoCAD. I think this is no one's working in AutoCAD. But whatever work you're doing in AutoCAD, it's limited. Okay? So 2D, don't work, 3D is great. Make it 2D, bring it in AutoCAD, redraw it. Draw on top of it, make new layers. Okay? This is starting to compete with what we saw on Friday or Thursday. It's the same. It looks the same. It's the same. Let's look at. It's going to be identical. So there's really no difference. So we just pick Adobe PDF.
And then everything's the same.
Well, you got to pick the. So I got to go to Properties. Adobe PDF has a few more layers. Properties, Properties. Then you got to go to Custom Properties, and then to Paper Quality, and then Advanced, and then you go to Paper Size, Custom, and then you can make this 24 by 24. Hit OK. Hit OK. Hit OK. Hit OK. Hit OK. And you have 24 by 24. Just more steps. Okay? And then I can go to Window. Again, pick the same window. Pick my 1/64 equals a foot. Say center it. Hit OK. Rather than saving EPS, it saves it as a PDF. Hit save. It's going to look exactly the same. It's using the same technology. I like the EPS because it's like low tech, don't need anything. It's eliminating one extra sort of process. It's actually faster as an EPS, as you saw. Illustrator. See, like this drawing is killing my computer. Looks exactly the same. You'll see it'll be exactly the same. There it is. Okay. So you do the same thing, delete the, like this isn't hard. This is, if, hey, it's midnight right now and I'm going to finish my layout in a half hour and get some sleep, and then wake up, come in the morning and print my stuff. Like this is the easy part. Output should be the easy part. But you just got to be careful to set up your drawings right. I want you guys working. Don't worry about the 3D rendering. I want you to focus on the 2D stuff. Plan, section. Don't even work on the 3D. I don't even want to see it. Okay? The 2D will inform the 3D. The section will inform the 3D. Okay? Other thing is model. I don't know what's going to happen on Thursday, but I want to show you guys model building techniques beyond what you guys have done here. Although I think they're all relative. I mean, you guys were doing a lot of building, but I want to show you some more techniques, maybe even the shop, and then bring some casting stuff.
Can we meet when you are done?
Yes.
Together?
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. All right, guys.
You're gonna send us the video.
Yes, I'm going to post it right now on YouTube.